Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I have my guest. He goes by the name Singh. But we're going to talk a little bit about staying calm in crisis. So let's see a little bit about him. Let's learn a little bit about him. Let's go back to October 2020. And a company suffered a full-blown ransomware attack on a Friday morning, just as payroll and vendor payments were due. Singh led the recovery effort, working with the FBI and other agencies, and the company was able to restore operations on a new infrastructure within 30 hours without paying the ransom. Singh identified three fundamental elements behind the career success that he has: a pragmatic, a continuous hunger for learning, the application of mindfulness that he learned as a child, and effective communication and collaboration skills regardless of the background. And he developed several frameworks, which we'll talk about today, to encapsulate the approach to leadership and success. They tested the frameworks with contacts in various countries, gathering feedback to refine the ideas, and later combined the practical experience frameworks and mindfulness practices to create ascendancy action system. We're going to talk about leadership in the sense of staying calm during a crisis. And I think, that's where the rubber hits the road. Oftentimes, we go to our natural behavior in times of crisis. So you might be able to wear a mask in times of, hey, yay, it's good, it's great. But during those times, those stressful moments in this crazy world that we live in now, how do you act as a leader? So please join me in welcoming Singh as a guest today. Singh, so happy to have you on and talk about this piece of leadership confidence that you hope that you never have to happen, but it's just, it's just the way it is. It's going to happen at some point in life. May not be a catastrophic, but there will be stress, there will be tension, and things will go awry. Before we get into all of that heavy conversation, though, I'd love for you to share two things. First, talk about where do you live right now? Where do you call home?
Thanks for having me, Vicky. So I am based out of Jacksonville, Florida.
Very good. I love that area. My best friend used to live there, so been around there.
hmm
And talk about, your journey. We really talked about what you're doing today, but besides the 2020 piece, really what paths along your journey informed you and really motivated you to do what you do today, to become this entrepreneur that helps transform leaders and CEOs?
Sure. I was blessed as a kid, grown up in a very affluent family in India, and we had a lot of musical background. And at a very early stage, because of my hyper nature, My parents introduced me to classical percussion, tabla, and I grew up playing it to the extent that I had a postmasters in percussion, in classical,
Mm.
by age of 13. And even then, my hyper nature was getting worse. I would literally pick fight on the street. I mean, if you cross me, there was 99% chance that you and I are going to get in a fight. It was that bad.
Wow.
So, right around when I was 14, that summer, 2.5 months when the schools are closed, my parents had me go to work with a lama in Tibet for two and a half
Mm.
months, where I really that's what transformed my entire life, learning those skills. Fast forward, going through engineering, MBAs, and all those different studies and work and everything. I never thought about what I was doing as a practice was so different for others.
Mm.
And 2020 was the last big one that happened with me in ransomware, and that really kicked me. Uh, and then when I looked back, reflected back on my journey, I had an incident when I was 24 years old, young, I
Mm.
would say.
Yeah.
And I was part of a venture capital, a large national venture capital company. And as part of that, I had um, a responsibility of managing a particular unit. And it was a manufacturing place. The entire city was so small that I was the only color person in the city, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And I got there on Tuesday, and Friday there was an issue with the payroll where, because we had just changed ownership of the company, some clerical error and the bank number was wrong on the check, so the bank refused to release the
Oh,
payrolls. And we're
wow.
talking about 300 blue collar folks, and I'm the new one in there, right? And I had to get the sheriff involved and everyone. And when the crowd came together to get an answer, I changed that thing into a feast. I had the sheriff bring in a few caterers in the town that he knew to feed everyone. So when I start reflecting back, what I learned as a simple breathing technique, and when we start looking at life,
Mm.
the teams that I got an opportunity to build, I had built those teams with those techniques of micro practices. I never had anybody pull out a yoga mat. I never had anybody to go on a retreat, right? But but just having very quick and easy micro practices, that's what transforms humans. And right here,
Yeah.
I'll start my first giveaway. Um, think about stop. Everybody looks at a stop sign when you are on the road, or you look at its signal. Next time do you look at that stop sign, do exactly that. STOP. Stop the thought that you have. The moment you
Mm.
put the brake, just stop the thought. Think about why you have that thought that you have right then.
Mm.
See if your body is giving some indication. Your neck, your shoulder, something is tensed. You're having some twist in your stomach. So there will be something, and just
Mm.
label as an observer. Just observer. Right?
Mhm.
Because see, the problem with leadership and humanity right now is we are running 90% of the time on autopilot,
Yeah.
right? What I mean by
Mm.
that is when you are doing something, are you 100% involved in that? I'm a big foodie, so I cook a lot. And I give that example all the time. Think about the last meal you had. Think about the last coffee you have, right? Do you remember the taste? Do you remember the smell?
Mm.
Because your brain is never stopping. Your brain is always capturing information from your five senses. But because we are on autopilot, we are not present
Mm.
to experience those things, right? So if we are on autopilot, what justice are we doing as leaders,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And as I have built the team over the years, the companies, the organizations, I have always led those teams with those things. The very first concept is to appreciate limitations of others.
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And how can you be professional with empathy and move
Mm.
people where you want them to go,
Yep.
right? I always say there are two different types of leadership. There is what in today's world it is dog eat dog culture, right? Where
Hmm.
everything is go, 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 go. There's no pause.
Yeah.
And then the other extreme is that there is no accountability. The true leadership is somewhere in the middle, where you can hold people accountable without being mean to them,
Exactly.
right?
Mm.
And that's where the whole ascendancy action system comes in. Ascendancy, the reason for that name for the system is ascendancy literally means to take you to the next level, not just you yourself. You with your company, with your team, with your family, with your community, ascend the entire force that you have. Action, because it is the book that I just released in Feb. That book, Ascendancy Awakened, is a manual. It's a handbook. It's a handbook that people can take and run with it, right? It gives you step by step how to be a holistic person, how to be a complete channel.
Mm.
And then the missing piece in that becomes the mindful practice. So,
Mm.
how can I put hundreds of micro practices? So, that's why I had to come with the second book, which I published in April, which is Mindful Pivot.
Yeah.
Again, the reason for that name pivot is how can I help you to become present in every moment that you live?
Mm. That's so true. So good. So many people are worried about the past and worried about the future, and they miss the presence.
Mhm. And that's where all the experience is, right? I mean, your entire
Hmm.
experience is in the present. And
Yeah.
it's if you go back into a little bit of philosophy, if there was something called past and if there was something called future, you could travel to it, right? But
Hmm.
the reason you're not able to travel to it is because two things. One, it does not exist just in our head,
Hmm.
right? And two, you have to live with the experience that you have every moment by moment. I always say people, if you just have two simple philosophies in your life. First one, life is nothing but just sequence of experiments.
Hmm.
If you look at the definition of experiment is you do an action and there is a result that you don't know what the result is going to be,
Right.
right? So that's what our life is. Anything we do it. We don't know what the result is going to be. But the mistake we make is we get emotionally attached to a expected outcome that we think we desire,
Yeah, the hypothesis.
right? Now,
Hmm.
if you don't get emotionally attached, like a kid, you're doing an experiment, whatever the outcome, the point is to enjoy that experience in the moment.
Right. Think how cool it was that it anything happened. Yeah.
Right, right. I mean, so that's one concept.
Hmm.
The second concept that people need to understand is the cyclicality, the cyclical nature of the universe,
Hmm.
right? Everything in this universe has a cycle. Moon, Earth, planets, universe, plants, insects, animals, human, everything has a cycle. We have disrupted the fundamental cycle of our life. If you look at human body is, I say, one of the best engineering marvel ever created on earth is our physics, our body, right? The way it
Hmm.
works, the way it's designed. With being busy and walking through digital assets that we keep around us, right? We have broken the cyclicality of us. What I mean by that, when 45 minutes after sunset, wherever you are, there is a particular chemical that your brain starts producing that gets you into a sleep state.
Hmm.
And an hour before sunrise, no matter where you are, your brain stops that, changes, and starts creating a different chemical that makes you awaken and alive.
Hmm.
Right? It's a very, very, very simple scientific thing. What we have done is by putting the blue light in front of us till midnight, till 2 o'clock, till 3 o'clock, we have pushed our brain to not start that chemical production. So if your brain is not developing and creating that chemical, you think you are not feeling sleepy, so you're watching something on your iPad or a TV, right? But because you're watching something that is blue light, your brain is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So
But
you're
guess what?
confusing it.
Right. So now you didn't have a good sleep, right? You slept at 12 o'clock. You should sleep at least 6, 7 hours. But what happens is your brain by default starts producing the other chemical it is supposed to do at 5 o'clock. So your sleep gets disrupted, right? The same cycle happens in companies. The same cycle happens in communities. The same cycle happens in life. So what is that cycle of your business? Not every day is a charge, 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 right? Not every week is charge, charge, charge. So,
Hmm.
what is that cycle of your business where you can get your people that nurturing that they need to be able to come on the other side of the cycle and be again exuberant in delivering what they have to do?
You talk about in our by some of the framework, and one is progress, and the other is peptid. Talk to us or share with us a little bit about what progress and peptid frameworks are all about.
Mhm. Definitely. So, before I share about the framework, the concept, the reason I had to bring a framework is uh, if you have a team of 5, 6, 7, 10 people, even if
Mm-hmm.
you're two people team, in today's age and world, everybody has access to information.
Mm-hmm.
And based on where they're coming from, they create their own perception about what
Right.
everything means in their life. Now, 10 years, 12 years back, when you had to do a training and bring people along, everybody was put in a room, there was a book given to them, and a workshop done. Everybody got on the same page with the same definition of whatever the team is going through, right? Today, even before you start that workshop, people already have perception about things. So, how do you holistically bring people together? So, the first framework, progress. Progress stands for purpose, reflection, organizing, grit, resilience, empowerment, self support, and self discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't have purpose in life, right, we have a big issue,
Yes, you do.
right? On my website, there is a link now that starting January, I partnered with the Purpose Company and became a facilitator for the first ever created assessment that gives you very detailed definition of your purpose. Not only defines your purpose, it shows you a pathway of the things that you can do to
That's
align to your
awesome.
purpose, right? Then reflecting. If you have defined your purpose, you reflect back and see what you are not doing to get to your purpose. See, in very simple definition, purpose is to give something that I have, the best of what I have, to give that to somebody that
Yeah.
transforms their life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the reason you know your purpose, but the day you know your purpose is you start getting fulfillment. And the way you get fulfillment is there are three ways that you get fulfillment. When you are giving the best what you have to others, you get fulfillment, one, by gratitude, that people thank you, right? Second, you get it through growth. You see people growing, you see people elevating. And the third crucial thing is glory. I mean, that's the life is all about,
Yeah.
right? So reflection, organizing is very important. So I'll give you an example. I was doing a workshop in right around Thanksgiving. with a fast food chain. They had brought in a bunch of their leaders in a major South Florida area. Um, and I went through the whole framework, and one lady came during the break. She was like, "Okay, Singh, here is my problem. I'm the only bread earner. I'm the sole bread earner of my family. I completely get what my purpose is, and how can I organize my life if I am a nurse who is traveling 2 hours every day to do the work in South Florida? And then I have to rush back to my kids." And she kept going on. And after I heard her story, I said, "You know your purpose. So reflecting back, have you identified what you have to do to reach there?" And she's like, "Yes, I have
Mm.
to do this one certification." I said, "So what's stopping you?" I don't have time. I said, "So you don't have time for what?" "I don't have time to read and learn to be able to sit for certification." I said, "Okay, hold on. Here is what organizing means. You just said you travel 2 hours every day, right? Right there is your uninterrupted, at least hour 45 minutes that you can listen,
Hmm.
right?
That's
So
right.
organizing is not that you have to leave what you're doing and try to go to a whole different, no. How do you live your life, organizing your life in a way that you can reach to your purpose,
Yeah.
right? So that's individually how. So when I work with companies and groups, individual leaders, I look at the progress framework, give them the workbook, and we work through everything individually, but then we also do collectively. Now, when we bring people collectively, that's where peptid makes a huge difference. So peptid stands for, first one, passion and energy in everything that you do. Think about it. If you have your purpose defined, if you know what your purpose is, and you're getting your fulfillment, there is not a single day that I wake up and I'm not excited to just get ready
Mhm.
to transform lives,
Yeah.
right? Whether I'm doing podcasts, whether I'm doing workshop, whether I'm doing speech, whatever it is, or just getting involved in the community. It's so when you have that purpose and energy, you can see a clear distinction in leaders. There are leaders who walk in the building and people try to run away, hide in the cubes and restrooms and the cafeterias, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have seen those
I
leaders, right?
I have
And
seen
then,
those leaders.
right? And then there are leaders who, even if there is a noise that they are coming in, everybody gravitates towards their office just to say hi,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
It is passion and energy that you bring, not to your life yourself, to everybody that you meet, right? Then the second part is professionalism and empathy. The reason I had to put the two together is, unfortunately, today when we talk about empathy, it has become pittiness,
Mm.
right? I mentioned earlier to appreciate limitations of others. That's what empathy, having empathy does not mean that you are downplaying someone, right?
Mm.
It is, how do you understand and appreciate their limitation and how you can uplift them,
Mhm.
right? The third one is transformation in every action. Right? That's where the whole micro learning and micro mindful practices that I had to come back and release in April came. How can your every action become transformational, not just for you, for the group that you are in?
Right.
And if you do those three things, every experience is full of delight and joy,
So true.
right? So that's
Very
the
much,
progress and peptid frameworks.
very much aligned with what I teach in leadership, which is leading with the heart, the head, and the
Ah,
hand.
hmm.
Mm.
Absolutely.
So you talk about self-reflection. So how
Hmm.
can practicing self-reflection really help you navigate uncertainty and challenges in times of crisis or, just uh, d- introducing change in businesses? We completely have to renegotiate things, pivot, as you talk about.
Hmm.
So
Mindful
how,
pivot. Yep.
how so how does this practice of self-reflection really give that leader
Hmm.
an edge?
So let's unpack what reflection means. So self-reflection is not just standing in front of mirror before you go to bed. It's not that, right?
No, no, no.
So just like athletes, they have to practice again and again and again to build their muscle that, whenever it's a go time, they go. Each of these practices through micro learning is building those muscles. So what reflection is it has got three components. I shared the stop exercise, right? The other one is pause. Every time you start something, you just pause and ask three questions. What is this activity for? What is the reason I'm doing this activity? Right? Second question immediately after that is, if I don't do this activity, who else can do this? Right? And the third question, what else can I be doing if I'm doing this activity? What else could I be doing if I was not doing this activity? Now, the point here is not to write a journal and novel for 5 minutes. No, simple 2 to 3 words, right? And where this exercise of pause has transformed leaders, where they have addiction to digital devices, they just can't stop scrolling in meeting. Like they're sitting in a meeting, but their hand is going like this, right? They're swiping something, text or email or whatever. I just ask them to pause and ask that question themselves. Hey, if I'm on Instagram, what is my reason of being here? Am I selling something? Am I learning something? What tangible am I going to get from this? If I am not doing this, it's my phone, so nobody else can do anything with my phone. But then the third question, what else could I be doing if I was not doing this? Right? It starts with, and that is what I call presence power, right? Becoming truly present in the moment.
So
You don't need a
important.
yoga mat. You don't need to go to retreats, right? Just pour deep breath and ask those questions and write down 1, 2, 3 words. That's it. It starts there. The reflection starts in the moment. The second part of reflection then is gratitude journaling. Again, I'm not talking about novel. I'm not talking about a whole paragraph. One sentence every day. I'm yet to meet a person. I have done at least 25, 30 major workshops right now. I have given so many keynote speaks. I'm yet to meet one person alive who don't have one thing to be grateful about in the whole day.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? I mean, you really have a very different perspective than humanity if you don't have at least one thing to be grateful in a day. Right? That's where reflection starts. Now you take that to your team. When you get in the meeting, are you present with them?
Or are you the one that's garlic?
Exactly. Oh, you're the one that's. So the statistics that we have done research, 10,000 plus hours of research that we have done, and this was so disturbing statistics. 75% of leaders across the globe. I'm not talking about one particular country. It was done across 25, 30 different countries where all my frameworks have been tested. 75% of the leader are not engaged in the first 10% of the meeting. Think about that. If your meeting is for 30 minutes, the first 5 minutes, the leader is not engaged, right? The fact of human interaction is your first 5 minutes of interaction in any setting defines how the rest of that event is going to go.
Interesting. I coach kids as well as adults, in public speaking, and during those meetings they're not allowed to have their devices. We actually, in one of the groups I work with, we take away their devices and put them in a safe. And it's really hard at first for them,
Mhm.
it's, but we're just trying to get them used to that they don't need it, that
Right.
they can live and survive fine without it. But yeah, I know I've been to many a meeting where even if you look around a restaurant,
But I'm not
um,
talking. They're I mean, it becomes so paranoid. I mean, I get so frustrated when I get out
mhm,
in dinners and stuff like that. At least the people that I work with. Well, I'll give you a very good example, right? So,
mhm,
I came back from this was, I think, early September. Came back from a major workshop. It was a venture capital firm that has brought all the new leaders of the companies that they have acquired to get on the same page so that they can build
yeah,
collaboration and stuff like that. So one of their leaders took this by their heart, CEO of a company, and he made a rule that every meeting room will have a bowl where everybody who comes in will have to put their phone in there and the meeting will happen. And then he called me after about a month and he says, Singh, I'm little confused what I'm not doing right. I said, okay, tell me what's going on. So he explained me that I've started this, that everybody puts their phone there, no computers allowed, except for somebody who is presenting, and that way we do it. But I still feel that I'm not getting that connection in the first 5 minutes. I said, okay, so it's two part. There's a physical thing, and then there is a mental thing.
mhm,
When you left your mobile phone, you did the physical thing, but did you check in with yourself that
mhm,
you're present? Or were you still thinking about the last meeting, the last call,
yeah,
right? So it's two parts. So reflection really is that. Reflection is being able to create the presence power. Reflecting back to be able to identify simple things that can help me in the moment, right? Think about NFL players. How many times they replay the match again and again and again and again,
mhm,
right? Just to fix one single move of their hand,
mhm,
right? Baseball, same thing. People see their own play. They see again and again and again and again just to change half an inch of your finger on the ball,
yeah,
right? We are leading leaders. We are leading not only companies, we are leading people.
mhm,
Why we don't replay again and again and again? I'm not talking about recording yourself all day long and sitting in front of the video, right? If you
right,
start reflecting in the moment and start journaling those small things, I can guarantee you in 1.5 months, 45 days, you will have a list of things that not only you will correct, but you will be thankful to yourself that you did it.
yeah, I believe that's true. I do. So we talked about sense of purpose and how vital it is. So let's think back to this being calm.
Mhm.
How can we tie this back, knowing our purpose, to be able to remain calm when things don't go as we had hoped hope for them to go, or if we do have to pivot, how that sense of purpose makes us confident in our decisions.
So, like I said, purpose is the giving the best of what you have to others,
Hmm.
right? If you unpack that, what is the best that you have, right? If you unpack it for a second, what is the
Hmm.
best that you have that you can give to others? So it comes down to four categories. The first two categories is that we gather from the nature.
Mm.
So we call it natural advantage, right? As a kid growing up, where you were a cheerleader, or you were a teacher, or you were a builder. What were you as you were growing up, right? That fundamental thing does not go away from us. We always have that natural advantage by default,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that is something that is natural to us. We gather from the universe, right? We build that over ages. The second thing that we also get from the nature is pulled passion. It's not passion, it's pulled passion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Pulled passion is something that you gravitate to go and fix, right? You gravitate. Like for me, my pull passion is to transform humanity. My goal is my goal is in 2025, by end of the year, have 250,000 people use one moment of mindful practice. That's my goal,
Oh, wow. That's a good goal.
right? So that's natural advantage that I have. Now, the natural advantage in pull passion. Then the second part is what we acquire. So what we acquire is learned skills, acquired skills,
Mm-hmm.
right? Something that we go through education, formally training, practice, whatever it is, acquired that we acquire. And then the fourth part is at some point in our life, we all become or create our own default reaction mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
right? And every individual have a very unique way of reacting to situation, and it's just cultivated over years.
Mm-hmm.
It did not just happen today. So when you package that together, that's what you have, the best of what you have to give others. Now, because it includes the defense mechanism of your brain, every time you practice breathing exercise for 3 minutes, you are forcing your brain to rewire the way it reacts to situations, right? And that's where presence power, cultivating presence power, right? It is truly a superpower. And it is in my very detailed exercises are there in my book I published in April, Mindful Pivot. And that's where the name Mindful Pivot comes from. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
I'm not wanting people to completely transform their life overnight. It's not going to happen, right? It's
No, it is not.
right. But moment by moment, how can we pivot every situation mindfully every day, every moment?
Making small adjustments as you go,
Mhm.
right?
Very minor, micro practices,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? And the reason I had to get down to micro practices, I would say the digital explosion actually is helping me because it has already trained people to be focused for less than 12 seconds, right? So no matter which platform you use, right? Social media, it has
Yep.
trained us to be not focused more than 12 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I had to build those micro practices that is less than 12
Right.
seconds.
Wow.
So
Time
yeah,
is
that's
flying
how you bring
by.
the two together. Yeah, that's how you bring the two together. And the moment you do that, you are not on autopilot, right? You are defining every
Mm-hmm.
moment that you live. I mean, think about a simple, do the simple exercise, right? Next time you walk out, just close your eyes and try to smell, right? The air itself has a different fragrance every moment
Yeah.
you walk around, right? So again, there's a lot of these practices that I also show them how you can use this presence power while you're walking, how you can use this presence power while you drive.
Wow.
And people come and say, "Oh, I'm always present. I'm never on autopilot." I say, "Okay, tell me one route. Tell me one route that you travel mostly." And they will say to school, to work, to whatever it is. And then my next question immediately will be, "Okay, where on that route was a purple house?" And they're like, "What?" Think about that. I asked, "Where on that route did you see a purple house?" And then
Of
they're, "What
course,
are you talking about?"
there's no purple
I
house.
said, "Well, do you remember every single building and colors on those buildings?" No. Okay, so one of the that's the purpose.
I can tell you when you were talking about that you have those 2 hours to read or to not read, but to listen to that information that you need for certification or whatever it was. And I thought, yeah, because you're on autopilot driving to work, you can focus on the car gets there somehow, some way.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
you know it. There are just those times when you really don't know how you got to work that day because you were left home and all of a sudden you're in front of your building. It's interesting. Well, it's time now for us to share our slides. We'll have to have you back and continue our conversation. I want to talk more about burnout and holistic approaches to integrate our mind, body, and spirit. But again, we'll have to have a second conversation,
definitely.
most likely in May, whenever your book is being relaunched again, just after this is being put out there. But for those that are listening, you know that the information that I'm going to share right now is on my YouTube channel, Vicki Noethling. So please do subscribe if you have not already, and also on my findyourleadershipconfidence.com website. All right, so the website is the singleadership.com. That's sing, SINGH, leadership.com. On LinkedIn is his first name, PANKAJ dash SINGH, Sing, dash Sing Power Up Coach. Sing Power Up Coach. If you search for just Sing Power Up Coach, you actually find it. Also, Sing Power Up Coach with a capital S. It's Facebook. Instagram is Sing Power Up Coach, all small letters. He has a podcast that you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe to. It is Mindful Leadership, Transforming Lives with Sing. And the link for that is transformationtalkradio.com/host/ and that's PANKAJ dash sing, 556.html. So all that information, just search Mindful Leadership, Transferring Lives with Sing, and you'll find it. I'm going to turn it over to Sing. He's going to talk to you about the things he has out there on his website, links, resources, blogs, as well as where he spends the most time in social media, and also an example of some of the things he puts out on his podcast. So, Sing, it's all yours.
Thank you. Um, so website is more a place of creating community. I've got a few different communities, one for Ascendancy Action Program, Ascendancy Action System, and then the other community I have is for Mindful Pivot. So those are the two programs that people can always join. It's
Awesome.
a I provide a full mentorship program for individuals and companies as teams. So all the workshops and everything is out there. I have also started a retreat for leadership training in mindful practice, which is also on the website.
Perfect.
LinkedIn is by default where I start any new thing I launch. I try to publish something every day. There will always be a nugget in that, just like micro practice, that you can always use. Every day, there will be a new nugget that you can pick up
Mm.
and run with it. Um, so anything that goes on LinkedIn, it's always on Facebook. I start from LinkedIn, then I go to Facebook and Instagram. It ultimately goes there. The
Mm.
podcast concept is unique because the Transformation Network, I started working with Dr. Pat October, November 24, and we decided this because the minute practice of mindful nature that I always teach, the macro practices, world needs it. So I'm really
Yeah.
grateful to Dr. Pat to give me a platform. So every Tuesday Pacific, noon Pacific, every Tuesday, I go live. I go live with uh, some audience or at least a guest or somebody. And every episode, there is a context that we talk about that people can take, and then there is a mindful micro exercise during the
Oh,
episode.
good.
And then you can also go on the website, leadership, singleadership.com, and find the link to the podcast. Every podcast, I also give a full-blown free meditation online. So my goal is that Dr. Pat and I have come up with an agreement to do this 72 weeks straight. And the goal
Mm,
is to give out 140 meditation at different levels, from beginners all the way to experience, uh, on a weekly basis that people can, and it's all free. People can reach
that's
out and
awesome.
download those meditations and work. And then the
Excellent.
book,
And I was just going to say, remind of the two books that you have.
right? So the books are available on Amazon. Ascendancy Awakened, that's the first one that I launched in mid-Feb. And then the second one is Mindful Pivot that I launched in April. And each
Awesome.
book then has the link on the singleadership.com where you can download the exercises and workbook if you have purchased the book.
Fantastic. That's awesome. So you want to be able to either go to his website to link to the book or go ahead straight to Amazon and get those books. Seeing it's been so wonderful chatting with you. As I said, we're very much aligned in our thoughts about leadership, and thank you for sharing ideas of how being a great leader can help you stay calm during a crisis. Been a joy chatting with you. Thanks for being a great guest.
Thank you, Vicky. Appreciate you having me.
As always, I remind everyone that life is a journey, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling, signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.